I don't know what the zombies deck presents,
It presents
but
hordes of the undead.
I imagine Doug's deck. When you're playing against an unknown with a deck like Green Black Delirium, it's hard to assign where certain cards go. Like what cards am I going to grasp? What like can I attack against this?
Sure.
That kind of stuff.
So I will tell you right now that the zombies deck is tremendous at grinding.
Okay.
So if the game goes long, Doug is going to have to lean heavily on Emrakul to get the job done. Like Ishkana isn't going to do the job here. It's a good card, but it's not going to.
It's gonna
It's not going to
buy
be
him
the ball
time
game.
to Emrakul.
Right. So I think that's where the tension's going to be. If Doug can pressure Duane's life total early, then Duane could be in trouble. But if it starts to go long, then the zombies deck could really shine.
Right.
What, did you get it off a record? Okay.
Looks like we're getting ready to go underway.
Here's the presentation.
There was a judge announcement regarding Standard Showdown this weekend as well. I don't think we're going to have that one streaming in favor of this Modern IQ, but who knows?
Who does know?
Anything could happen. So Duane looks like he's keeping a 7 as well.
All right. Shows him a swamp, and now he's got
A Crypt Breaker.
Crypt Breaker. This card's super strong.
Oh, yeah.
I can see this card coming away with the game pretty aggressively here.
Absolutely.
He's got a Copter to follow it up, sending in for one with the Crypt Breaker.
Yeah, this whole one-drop Copter
Synergy?
curve is solid.
Yeah, it's where you want to be.
If you've got Copters, you want one-drops with them.
Noted. I'll remember that next time I'm building my Copter aggro.
Yeah. Not so much a Copter mid-range, but Copter aggro is where you want to be.
Sure. Alright, so the Copter gets grasped before it's declared as an attacker.
As it often does,
Yep.
follows it up with an Asylum Visitor.
Yes. So Duane's apparently trying to get Hellbent here, trying to get 0 cards in hand.
Yeah, he's got some madness synergies. He's got like the zombies where you pitch a card to bring it back into play.
Sure.
Liliana is going to make short work of the 3-1.
Yep. Man, I imagine if he's got more of those in his deck, this Liliana is going to become a valuable commodity.
I think Liliana can just die here. Liliana down to 1.
Right.
Not crazy about this.
Crypt Breaker makes a token. So Liliana's going to go up to 2, killing the Crypt Breaker, I'm assuming.
What's Incendiary Flow cost? Is that a 2 mana spell?
Correct.
Oh, but that can't go to the dome. And he didn't have the second red source. I see.
Sure.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Let's see if we can make him burn a removal spell on this zombie.
That's the ideal here, right?
Sure. And there it is.
Yeah, so what Duane's done here is he's gotten 2 for 1 on his Crypt Breaker.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the power of madness. It doesn't look like much at first, like, up front. But when you reevaluate what all's gone down.
Alright, so Incendiary Flow does target players.
Oh, it does. Okay. I don't know why he didn't just kill the Liliana the turn before then, but, you know.
It was... Okay, yeah.
Whatever. He could have
Flow plus
attacked.
the attack, sure.
Yeah. Another Liliana. Plus target nothing.
I'm interested in Duane's choice to keep this land in his hand here. He chose not to play it last turn.
Yeah, he might have just gotten so caught up in the moment there. I do like killing this Grimflayer.
Sure. Yeah. I suppose.
I mean, you just got to do it, right? It's
Yeah,
not.
and then
It's not
Liliana's
pretty.
at 5.
Yeah.
Man. That Liliana gets too big. It's just. Yep. All right. So he goes with the Scrap Heap Scrounger here. This is one of the better black cards out of this set.
Oh, absolutely.
You want to talk about a card that grinds? This guy gets the job done in that department. So the problem here with using a creature to try and take down Liliana is that it's going to become a 1/1.
A much smaller creature is what it's going to become.
And that's not gonna help.
No, and see, here's the reason why I like killing the Grimflayer here. A Grimflayer activation on top of already having 3 usually means that this Grimflayer is going to be a 4/4, and all of your removal is just dealing 3 damage to it.
Yeah. His Delirium's like at 5 right now. He's got Artifact, Creature, Land, Planeswalker, Instant.
Yeah.
Alright. Doug's gonna think carefully about this. This is the situation where you don't want to,
He has an Emrakul in hand. He's almost got 2 Emrakul mana. Like, we're almost there. Few mana away.
See, what I would have done here is I would have used the Hissing Quagmire as a blocker. Yeah, so we're just getting the mana paid for it sorted out.
There we go.
Alright.
Mana
So he could have
sorted.
fired up the Hissing Quagmire to block the 1/1 there,
Yeah,
and he would have had to have an instant speed removal spell,
sure.
which I think it's like Galvanic Blast and Harness Lighting are the ones that, I guess, Grasp of Darkness counts.
Sure. So, Duane has drawn a Voldarim Pariah. Really under the gun here, though. I don't know what his plan is. Like, maybe he really wants to Scrap Heap Scrounger back and then turn to pressure this Liliana.
Yep. Looks like he's going to go down to 14, yep. And Doug's choosing not to trigger. Mind Rack Demon's going to add to the count, though. In the graveyard.
Alright, so Mind Rack Demon, pretty strong here.
I wonder if that's an enchantment. I see the 1 green cost.
Probably traverse the Ulvenwald.
Okay. And you could all. I mean, I was thinking of 1 green cards as Vessel. Is the one that I wanted it to be.
Alright, getting back to Scrounger.
Yep. That's what the Scrounger does. Comes back.
Prized Amalgam. So in order to make this Prized Amalgam happen, we want to play out our Haunted Dead. And chump. Or let it die.
Yep, let it die in some way.
But all of the meantime, while we're trying to set up this, admittedly, it can be a pretty high impact turn if he gets another land. Okay.
Yep, so the Mind Demon's going to block here, and it's probably going to earn this Incendiary Flow after combat.
Yeah. Okay, I can get behind that.
Alright.
Duane's chances to set up this turn are slipping away, though.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have many more opportunities to attack. And it looks like Doug's going to get to plus Liliana 1 more time. And then,
It was a vessel, by the way.
oh, cool. That's what you want it to be. We can't.
So we've
count
got
six.
7 plus 6 is 13. And we know what that means. On to the next one, Duane says.
Yep, Emrakul promised an end, and he certainly brought it there. She did.
She, yeah. Don't
Sorry.
assume. Emrakul's gender.
You can't misgender the ship.
Yeah, don't misgender the Eldrazi.
Yeah, so you
So-
saw the streamlined efficiency of this green-black Delirium deck.
Oh yeah, it's a very strong deck. It's very hard to beat it with any non-established strategy like red-black zombies. But I think if Duane can sequence his plays and sequence his mana properly, he has a chance to create a big turn that could very much swing the tide in his favor.
Right. How concerned do you think he has to be about creating that turn himself and not having Doug take that turn for him and mess everything up? Because I'm sure you could, I'm going to discard these 2 cards that you normally wouldn't discard to get back my Haunted Dead, you know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, I'm sure there's some concern, but at that point in the game, if you haven't already fired those spells off, then they weren't going to do anything for you anyway. Like, you don't really have answers for Emrakul. If it's coming down to Emrakul, you're probably already losing.
Yeah. The more we watch this green-black Delirium deck on camera, the more I'm just like, what beats it? It seems like it's one of those decks that only loses to itself. Like, when it draws poorly, or like, you're hunting that one card and it just doesn't get there.
Sure.
That's when the deck loses. Every other time, if it fires on all cylinders, it's very hard to go head-to-head with it with its best draws.
Right. You need to pressure it. That's the big thing. You're not going to beat this black-green Delirium deck in the late game. Like, there's not a deck that's better equipped to go late with repeated Emrakuls than black-green Delirium.
Sure.
So, you either need to get the Emrakul before them, or you need to pressure them and then have an answer for, like, the Ishkana or the Liliana or whatever they're going to use to stabilize.
Yeah, I think that's really the problem. There's multiple fronts. It's just coming in on all streets.
Absolutely.
And it's hard to figure out where to get into the action with it. Where do the horns lock up? That's what I want to know. It's many cases here.
4-color aggro mid-range. So the 4th color in the 4-color aggro mid-range was just blue for Ceremonious Rejection in the Pro Tour. And that was only relevant because such a large portion of the metagame was Aetherworks Marvel.
Right.
So I don't think 4 colors necessary. And I don't think that really adds anything to the deck. Mardu is still very much a real thing, like Mardu vehicles.
Right. Even that deck has got more streamlined, like we saw Billy last round playing just the red-white.
Exactly. So these black-green Delirium decks, and to a lesser extent the blue-white Flash decks, are so efficient in taking over in the mid-game that you have to be on curve, hitting all cylinders turn 1, 2, and 3 with this vehicles deck, or you're not going to get there. Like a Fleet Wheel Cruiser was great. Now, like, you're swinging into an Ishkana and it's just like, whatever.
Well, that was great.
Right.
Alright, so Duane's going to be on the play. Hopefully we get to see some more action from his side. I feel like it was just dismantled so quickly.
Yeah, that Liliana did a ton of work. I think he spent a little too much time trying to set up, like, a good madness effect.
Right.
Versus just, like, I think he missed the play, the turn where he could have killed the Liliana. And it would have gone much differently in that case.
Concur.
Oh, man. I don't think I see any lands.
Yep. You get a mulligan here.
I think Duane brought in... It might be main deck. But he might have brought in this Obnixilis.
Yeah. That's something you can top out with.
Yeah. I'm not crazy about it here. I don't want to try to out mid-range the Delirium deck.
No?
Like, you really want to try to get under it.
I see.
So many of your threats are already recursive. So you naturally have, like, this mid to late game grindiness. The 2-land hand with an Aetherworks hub.
That's okay.
It's okay. It's not great. But we've got a curve, so...
Yep. Comes a draw step. Either sub
I
with
think the draw step was a to the slaughter. Fire up this Asylum Visitor.
Yep. Yeah, Silent Visitor offered a juicy target when he was on the draw.
Now
But,
at least it's going to get 3 damage in.
Yeah, he's on the play this time, and it's a much different scenario.
Yeah, if he wants to take it down, he's going to have to spend a card to do it.
I see the Liliana in the hand, so...
Grimflare does a pretty good job of stonewalling at least the Crypt Breaker. Uh-oh.
No land, 2 prized amalgams in hand.
Well, this is fine. We can start discarding these prized amalgams, but we're going to need to start generating some value.
Alright. Coming in for 3. And this zombie's probably going to block the Grimflare. I imagine Doug has a removal spell, but zombie token is not what you want to spend it on.
Yeah, and if he taps out to play Liliana, he still can't get in with the Grimflare.
Right. How do you feel about Liliana targeting the zombie token and getting into the Grimflare?
It's great if you want your Liliana to die. Not so much otherwise.
Oh, okay.
I do like this swing at the Liliana. This is aggressive, and I like every bit of it.
Yeah, I think you got to have some aggression.
Really force the issue here. Don't let him untap to try and get another removal spell here. This Crypt Breaker is gonna die. You can't do anything about it.
Alright. Oh, man, this is really good. So we get to see the interaction here. He's going to bring back the Scrap Heap Scrounger, and that's going to yield him the prized amalgam.
Pretty strong. And there it goes.
Oh, man. That's a big sequence of turns.
We're getting some zombies on both sides.
Liliana into Kalidas, and Liliana gets to take a guy down. It just doesn't get any better than that. All right. Yeah, this just isn't.
This Kalidas is doing a great job of shutting down any of the graveyard.
Any kind of offense.
Is he as it comes into play, or is he at end of turn trigger? He's at end of turn.
Taking a good read over prized amalgam here.
What it does is it sets up a delayed trigger.
It does.
So that's how you want to think about that. Alright, here's a draw step. And, God, I guess I Liliana wanted the plussing or targeting one of the tokens and attacking it with Kalidas.
Sure.
Or you can just attack with Kalidas without. Because you got the zombie back up to sacrifice.
Yeah,
Make
I
it
mean,
bigger.
if you just attack with Kalidas, there's no way it's getting blocked here. It really depends on what's in his hand. If he has some way of like a removal spell or something for this prized amalgam, then I'm fine with attacking with the Cletus. But I definitely don't want to get my life total pressured to the point where I'm forced to jump block with like Grim Flayers and the like.
Sure. Yeah, and I guess if we talked about this Delirium deck being able to go long,
Right.
sitting here looking at each other, fine with him.
Perfectly fine, especially you saw all of his removal in game 1 was 3 damage burn spells, and none of that's going to deal with the Cletus. But we do have the answer for the prized amalgam. We get another zombie. We're going to get a takedown of a zombie. Not take down, but take it out of the equation. Surprised he didn't get in there. I do like swinging there. If you have the answer for the prized amalgam, you shut down his offense.
Sure.
I think you may just really value this Grimflayer and not want to block with it if it comes down to that.
Right.
And I can't blame him. Grimflayer is a fantastic magic card. If he can get Delirium, then it being a 4/4 is huge here.
Yeah, I can't see Duane's path to victory here. Do you think it?
It starts with killing this Kalidas somehow.
Right. Like a ruinous path is probably the best thing I can think of.
Yeah, if he can kill this Kalidas and start trading off these zombies, then you're in a much better shape. But he needs Doug to not have the Emrakul. And from what I've seen of Doug's hand, he has the Emrakul.
Judging by the Emrakul that I've seen in his hand,
Yes.
he has it.
He's got it. He's got it all.
All right. So Doug's gonna swing in with his Kalidas, go to 19. Play more land.
Yeah, just land go is fine. Like, you're in such a strong position here.
All right.
Duane's finding his mana, though.
And now we got
Dueling Kalitas.
Kalitas for everybody. Yep. So Doug's gonna make his bigger, and this is gonna make combat real bad for Duane. I think Doug sees his path being Kalitas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost like Liliana and Emrakul are backup answers at this point.
Sure.
Here's an additional backup answer coming down in the form of Mindrak Demon, I think.
If Mindrak Demon whiffs here, that is a dangerous play to make.
Why? Oh, because it's going to start
Like 4
eating
damage
his
a
life
turn,
total?
yeah. That adds up. He can gain 5 with the Kalidas, but you don't want to force an attack with the Kalidas here.
Right. Looks like we have
Nope.
land instant sorcery.
Minus chewing the Lily. That's how big of a deal this is. Hits land, still no Delirium. This could
Holy
be
smoke.
Duane's path to victory.
Keeping
Doug's
Mindrak Demon
own
alive.
Mindrak Demon. So now he can't even attack with his Kalidas profitably.
Right? Holy smokes.
What a turn for Duane. He didn't even have to cast a spell.
Yeah, just had to look nice. Stand there and smile.
Westvale Abbey added to the board.
Now this opens up a very real path.
If he can get this zombie off of the board, like if he can offer up a trade with this zombie, it doesn't matter what this to the slaughter hits, it's all gas.
Right.
You get another zombie, probably kill the Mindrak Demon.
I wonder if you just cast to the slaughter, does Doug just choose Mindrak Demon?
Potentially.
It takes damage on that demon, right?
Yeah, he takes 4 off the demon. We need to pump the brakes on this because he does have to take that.
Yeah, that's a detrimental trigger. So I see Ishkana, Emrakul. Man, what a quagmire Doug has himself in here. I'd just start attacking personally. But
you
that's
gotta
what I
get
do
in
when
there.
I get nervous.
Start turning him sideways.
Damn it. I see I would get in with Kalitas here as well. Because you have the additional zombie, you can make it a 7/8. It's a big man.
See, this is why I wanted to get rid of the token first. Yeah, I really wanted to save that for when I could get rid of the token, but... Or when he attacked with the Kalitas.
Alright. Okay, so we're delirious now. Alright. Duane's drawing more prized amalgams.
Without a way to get those into the yard, they're a liability here.
Yeah, been watching this match play out, and these prize amalgams are just bad.
Well,
I haven't seen any cathartic reunion or anything of that nature.
yeah, you're not going to have anything like that. Your big discard outlets are going to be the Crypt Breaker, Haunted Dead out of the yard,
Smuggler's Copter.
Smuggler's Copter. And every time he's had one, Doug's just had the answer.
Sure.
He hasn't really had the chance to get off the back foot here.
Yeah, destroy an artifact, get a zombie.
Feels good, man.
Plusing Liliana, target Kalitas, right?
Plus targeting.
Cletus is definitely the right call.
Yeah, because if you target the zombie, you just sacks the zombie to Kalitas and you have the same amount of power.
Right. He's playing around burn when Duane doesn't really have access to red. Do you know if he still has that energy?
I
I don't
believe.
think so, because he cast a prize amalgam, didn't he? No, he hasn't cast
No,
one
he
yet.
has not. He got it back with the Scrap Heap Scrounger.
Down to 9. Doug playing this very defensively.
See, I mean, this might be why I'm just horrendous at Standard. I would have ended the last round. I would have ended the game like 4 turns before it ended.
Sure.
This round, I would have tried to end it 4 turns before it ended.
Yeah, I don't know
Like
if...
I would have turned them all sideways last turn. 100% of my creatures.
Yeah.
Activated my Ishkana.
I don't think I
It
would
just,
have
like,
turned my
rumbled for-
spiders sideways.
Okay, sure. We'll keep the spiders back.
Alright, we're replacing the spider plants with actual spiders.
Here's some spidery spiders. Along came a spider. And along came a prized amalgam. And this just isn't going to be enough.
No.
It's not going to... This isn't going to...
3/3 is not an irrelevant body, but...
But we've got 2 4/4 tramplers.
Right.
This 4/5 flyer. 5/6 lifelinker.
Look, I didn't say it was a good situation.
Oh, we're just going to play the Noxious Gearhulk for gratitudes.
Well, you gotta kill a Kalitas somehow.
Come on, buddy. Cletus?
Target creature.
Alright, so then we choose this Cletus as it's the biggest creature on the board. and it is the one with the most abilities. It's
Yes.
got a lot of abilities.
It also keeps him alive the longest.
Right. And when you're Doug Nelson, you're just ready to kill him.
Yeah, you definitely have lethal on board if you kill this Kalidas. Probably have it either way, honestly. Really in the tank, though. There it is.
There you go. So now what he has to do is he has to count.
I don't even count. Just turn them all sideways.
Let him figure it out.
Yeah.
Spiders, too.
Oh, spiders are coming for sure.
Cletus. Come on.
This is all he's attacking with. Oh, he's just calling it.
All right. So we saw a lot of cards in Duane's hands that weren't active in the match.
Right.
And I think if you're going to have decks where you have cards like that, you just have to have an overabundance of cards that make them active.
Right, and I think he does. I just think that this black-green Delirium deck is so efficient and so unforgiving that if you stumble even a little bit, it's almost impossible to get back into the matchup.